Today we are taking a look at Akemi Homura from Puella Magi Madoka Magica, the movie Rebellion. This is the magical girl costume by Banpresto. Puella Magi Madoka Magica is a groundbreaking dark fantasy anime actively examining the heavy emotional burdens and deeply harsh realities placed upon magical girls. The overarching original broadcast franchise explores complex, recurring themes of enduring hope, painful sacrifice, and the inescapable cosmic consequences of wishing for miracles. Within this specific timeline, Akemi Homura operates as a stoic and deeply driven time traveler caught in an endless cycle. She consistently prioritizes the ultimate safety of her most cherished friend above her own personal well-being. Today's highlights for this figure are the determined facial expression, the accurate recreation of her outfit, and the composed seating pose representing her distinct personality. The eyes maintain a slightly lowered upper eyelid line while firmly containing the purple irises, leaving a strong presence within her calm demeanor. The fine lines and bright highlight sections overlapping inside the irises create a deep sense of tension, which is further tightened by her thin eyebrows and firmly closed mouth. The upper body features the iconic black raised collar, pale purple outer collar, white borders, and purple chest ribbon, immediately establishing the accurate visual identity of her costume. Furthermore, the overlapping layers of the pale purple skirt and white frills, combined with the detailed patterns on her legs and the soul gem on her hand, ensure all essential elements are captured precisely. Resting both hands quietly on her lap and crossing her legs tightly toward the center naturally conveys her modest and reserved presence. Meanwhile, the stark contrast between this highly contained posture and the expansive backward flow of her long hair leaves a clear sense of strong internal will across the overall silhouette. This channel brings you figure reviews and anime merchandise updates straight from Japan. If you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. The face is positioned at a slightly tilted angle, directing her gaze steadily in a calm direction to establish a quiet, tense atmosphere. Her eyebrows are drawn thin and short, while her eyes maintain a horizontally long shape, keeping the top and bottom edges evenly balanced without becoming excessively sharp. Inside, the purple irises contain overlapping dark lines and bright highlight sections, with multiple thin diagonal lines inserted near the center. Rather than simply outlining the exterior heavily, adding fine divisions inside the surface leaves a tense will within her calm look. Her mouth remains slightly closed without stretching horizontally. A few short red lines of blush are added to her cheeks, leaving a faint heat of emotion while maintaining a composed expression that does not move significantly. The bridge of her nose is not sharply pointed, and the surface connecting the forehead, nose tip, mouth, and chin flows smoothly, unifying the entire face with a sense of quietness rather than rigidity. Moving to the hair, the front locks divide into multiple strands above the forehead, and each pointed tip descends thinly toward her eyes. The center-aligned bangs are cut short, and the outer strands drop longer, framing the upper half of the face with stepped lengths instead of hiding the forehead in a straight line. Long, thick strands fall vertically past the cheeks outside the face, extending beyond the height of the jaw, tightening the front silhouette thinly through the hair structure. A thin headband circles the crown, inserting a single boundary line over the rounded surface of the covering hair. The rear hair drops largely as one cohesive piece along the roundness of the head, then separates into multiple long bundles across the back, flowing outward while changing how the tips open per bundle. The bundles escaping heavily toward the back maintain width halfway and squeeze thinly as they approach the ends, projecting strong dynamic directionality. The hair ends feature staggered lengths, allowing the hair to spread with overlapping horizontal layers and sweeping volume. A black raised collar encloses the throat, featuring thin white vertical lines on its front to tighten the center. Outside this section, a pale purple outer collar rests on the shoulders bordered by a white band. A thin dark line runs inside this border, arranging multiple boundaries within a single collar piece. Diagonal lines cross the outer collar surface, adding divisions pointing from the outside toward the center, ensuring the chest surface presents a detailed structural layout. A purple ribbon is tied at the front center, maintaining a small knot while allowing two distinct bands to extend downward. The band ends finish with slight roundness, creating a soft swaying motion across the chest. The white torso surface features a vertical central division line, splitting the front side slightly to separate the surface directions. The lines descending from the shoulders to the underarms squeeze near the waist, while an angular shape protrudes outward at the hem underneath this section, securing a clear transition between the narrow torso and the flared lower edge. A black border continuously connects the pointed front sections, folded underarms, and the area wrapping behind the waist. The sleeves extend with white surfaces from the shoulders down to the wrists. Below the elbows, a black inner layer appears, covered by the white outer sleeve to form a double-layered structure. The projecting white outer cuff cleanly separates from the black inner layer hugging the wrist, and a pale purple wristband presents continuous color transitions between white, black, and purple. Both hands are overlapped vertically on her lap. The uppermost hand extends forward, resting its gently curved fingers onto the hand below without carrying excess tension. The underlying hand acts as a receiving surface, placing its back upward. Each finger separates lightly, becoming thinner toward the tips while settling softly. The soul gem sits upon the back of the hand, displaying a square purple surface framed by golden edges with a single small round bump underneath. A back ribbon flows downward beneath her hair, finishing with small square ornaments at the tips. A pale purple skirt wraps her body following its natural curves. Matching the seated posture, the front surfaces remain short while the volume pushes outward resiliently around the back. The white hem transitions cleanly across the black border, separating the white surfaces from the purple surfaces. Continuous white frills emerge from underneath, and the outer purple surface sits above these repeating inner waves, demonstrating distinct layering. Her form rests shallowly at the hips, shifting the skirt surface forward along the curving waist and angled thighs, forming a drape specific to the seated posture rather than hanging straight down. Her legs are crossed in front of her. The uppermost leg overlaps forward at the knee, allowing the other leg to pass underneath, clearly establishing the front-to-back depth between her thighs and knees. The forward-facing leg extends thinly down the shin, while the secondary leg pushes forward from an altered lower angle, giving each limb a distinct directional flow. The covering black surface unifies a large area in a single colored tone. On the patterned sections, a continuous row of pale purple square shapes descends like a single band from the top of the thigh down to the middle of the shin, shifting angles along the way. These specific diamond patterns connect at their corners, functioning as a directional flow mimicking the leg contours instead of remaining isolated dots. Adding this continuous purple sequence within the black surface reinforces the visual length extending forward. The lines squeeze inward once at the ankles. The instep surface pushes forward, connecting to a slightly lifted heel section. The toes finish with a flowing, rounded shape, gathering the entire foot without sharp breaks. The heel lift is kept small, receiving the continuing thin flow descending from the knee without dominating the visual focus. The overlapping structure around her crossed knees, the shins extending forward, and the lightly lifted toe tips follow each other sequentially. This ensures the lower body forms an uninterrupted shape, pulling cleanly forward despite the seated position. This figure is approximately 20 centimeters tall. That's about 7.9 inches. For size comparison, here's a 350 milliliter can. That's about 12 ounces in the US. Overall, Akemi Homura by Banpresto stands out for its accurate and faithful recreation of the original costume and its profound emotional resonance. The headband serves as a distinct visual axis crossing thinly over the crown, solidly defining the core impression of the character alongside the cleanly framed face below. Her face captures thin eyebrows, subdued eye lines, purple irises, and a small closed mouth gracefully within a tilted angle, firmly presenting a quiet expression that retains a strong internal presence. The overlapping fine lines and bright highlight sections inside the irises ensure the eyes exhibit tense determination rather than settling for simple color blocking. Keeping her torso relatively straight and resting her hands softly on her lap gathers the body lines securely toward the center, directly generating the deeply settled and calming mood defining this piece. The layered black collar, the pale purple outer collar, the crisp white borders, and the purple chest ribbon construct an upper body area that clearly demonstrates both structural boundaries and precise color arrangements. Within the overlapped hands, each finger bends lightly and individually, while the sole gem placed on the back of the hand functions as a highly effective and defining focal point within a small surface area. Below the waist, the pale purple skirt wraps her body roundly, with the black perimeter line and the protruding white frills clarifying the distinct layering sequence. The lower body is structured through crossed legs, separating the active angles between the overlapping upper leg and the underlying leg to clearly establish structural depth within the seated posture. The overarching physical posing establishes a highly natural and direct visual pathway, guiding the observer's gaze steadily down from the tilted face through the chest ribbon, the folded hands, and eventually into the crossed lower legs. The significant outward sweep characterizing her cascading rear hair couples harmoniously with the constrained nature of her seated posture, linking the modest central form with the expansive outer contours to simultaneously project her signature tranquility and enduring strength. Because of that, fans of Puella Magi Madoka Magica or Akemi Homura will definitely enjoy this piece. With that focus, collectors who appreciate nuanced character expressions and structurally faithful costume designs should find it a worthy addition. That's it for this video. If there's any part of the figure you liked, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.